As you can see, I am ready for season 11 of Doctor Who. I have my Angels Have the Phone Box t-shirt and I have my TARDIS earrings on, which I'm almost certain that you cannot see. But I am so excited for the 8th of October and slightly upset that Australia has to wait an extra day for season 11 of Doctor Who because of the time difference. Alas, let us move on to the books. Hi guys, my name is Kirsty and welcome to Upside Down Books. Today we're going to be doing my September book haul and wrap up, and today I'm going to be doing my book haul first. I usually do it second, but for reasons that it's really an anticlimactic thing to end on, I'm going to do it first today because I did not buy very many books. I think I must have been broken in September because when I was, what was I doing the other day? I can't remember why, but I was counting and I was seeing how many books I bought because I was really feeling the need to go and buy some books, and I bought 0 books. 0 books. But I do have 2 to haul. One was a pre-order and one was an ARC that was sent to me. But yeah, technically speaking, I didn't buy a single book in September, which is really depressing. And that means that, of course, in the start of October, I've bought a lot of books. So we'll just look forward to that one. I feel like I said that in August. I thought I was going to buy heaps of books in September, and it just didn't happen. But I've already accumulated quite a few, and it's the 2nd of October. But that's next month's news. So the pre-order that came in this month was The Lantern's Ember by Colleen Houck. I am all levels of excitement about this book. Colleen Houck is my favourite author. The Tiger's Curse series is my greatest love, especially since I have completed the series, which meant of course I had this one on pre-order. This one is like a great read for October, and I really hope that I actually get around to reading it. I keep saying that it's on my anticipated reads for October because it's Halloween themed with a guy looking after the underworld and just all sorts of like jack-o'-lantern stuff. Jack-o'-lantern wasn't the right word there, but just think lots of Halloween vibes. I'm really excited for it. She is so blessed with covers. This woman literally gets the most beautiful covers ever. Like, if I'd published a book and I got this cover, I would be stoked. But yeah, that was the first book that I got this month. The second one that was sent to me was by Pam Macmillan, and it's a real big one, and that is Absolute Proof by Peter James. And I've never read Peter James's books before, but he is an acclaimed novelist, and this one is a thriller, and I read the blurb and immediately pretty much picked it up and read it, and it's over 550 pages and I could not put the stupid thing down. It is so good, guys. This book is about a reporter who is approached by a man who claims to have absolute proof that God exists, and he has been told by God through a medium that he has to get this reporter, our main character, to write the story because he's a really well-known reporter and he's the only way that anyone's going to take this guy seriously. The reporter is told that the man has 3 sets of coordinates on Earth, which will lead him to 3 locations of hidden proof that makes it undeniable that God exists, and there are different major organizations throughout the book that try to kill him or threaten him or buy things off him, including the Pope and a massive pharmaceutical company which is made up. And when I got to the afterword by the author, this is actually inspired by men who approached him and said the same things. Maybe not about the coordinates, but the fact that he had absolute proof. But anyway, I just thought that was so cool that it was based on like a semi-true story. Well, it's based on a true story and is semi-true, based on a true story. It's just elaborated. I literally cannot recommend that you go and pick this one up enough. If you loved The Girl on the Train, if you loved The 13th Tale, if you love Agatha Christie, or if you just love anything that's got a good mystery, a good thriller without being too scary, I am an absolute wuss and I love this book. You need to go get yourself a copy of this one, guys. So that's it for my book haul in September, which is incredibly disappointing, so pinky promise that I will do better in October. Moving on to the wrap up for the month. I read a lot of ebooks this month, so I don't have many physical ones to show you. The first book that I read I have a review up for, and that is 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews. I will leave a little card up above for you to link on. Oh wow. I will leave a little card up above for you to click on and see my review if you so wish to. This is a book published by one of my fellow blogging friends at Paper Fury. This book was insane. I've not read a book where I just had to read the whole thing like then and there or I would die for such a long time, and I read this in like 2 sittings. I could not get enough. It is about a boy who is forced to play piano by his mother, who has like shaky hands and can't play piano anymore, but she was a great legend and has sort of fallen out of her glory, so she forces him. There's like a bit of domestic violence. There's a lot of domestic violence and abuse going on, but there's a great younger sister in it and a great friend, and it's a beautiful story of dealing with all of that. I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars, and I added it to my all-time favourites list for 2018. The second book that I read was an audiobook, and that was the memoirs of David Attenborough called Life on Air. This one I've been meaning to read for such a long time. I'm in such a binge mood for reading memoirs of people that I love, and I went and bought his other memoirs, which is called something like The Adventures of a Naturalist or The Life of a Young Naturalist, blah blah blah, because the print version of this one has such tiny font that I was like, nah, I'm never gonna get through that. So I bought the audiobook and it was brilliant. I don't know why I didn't think to get it first off, because listening to David Attenborough narrate his own life with the millions of anecdotes that this man has was incredible. I loved it so much. I rated this one 5 out of 5 stars. Brilliant audiobook, highly recommend if you are a fan of David Attenborough as well. The next one that I read was super random. I was having a little evening on NetGalley. If you don't know what that is where you can request e-arcs, so advanced reader copies but ebooks. And I was like, I just really feel like getting an arc. I just had one of those moods and I was like, I want to read something new now. And so I found a graphic novel, and I've never requested that before. And it was called The Adventures of Theodore Poussin, Captain Steen. I couldn't remember that title off the top of my head. This one's by Frank Legal, or Legal, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It is originally written in French. It's very much so Tintin vibes. It's about a guy who gets up on this steamship, and he's, I think, a reporter as well, and all sorts of odd things happen, and he's running away from bad guys and hiding from people and getting caught up with people who seem to know who he is but he doesn't know who they are. It's really great, it's really short to read. I really wish I had the entire collection to read through, but this is the only one that has been translated into English so far, so more for me. But it was great, really enjoyed it. I don't know what I rated it. In a moment. I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars, which seems kind of low considering how much I enjoyed it, but I find it really hard to rate, like, single volumes of graphic novels high because so little happens in them and you're left so unsatisfied, and it was such a big cliffhanger, but it was really good. So if one day you somehow stumble across this in a store in English or you speak French, you better go pick up a copy of it. The next book that I read was a bind-up of the first 2 books in the Song of the Lioness series, Alana by Tamora Pierce. I don't know what the individual books are called and I can't be bothered flicking through the book to find it out, but this was sent to me by my friend Sarah and I finally read it. I know I'm terrible at getting around to books, but I got there and I really enjoyed this one. I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I need the rest of the series. I'm literally putting on my wish list for Santa this year to give me the boxed collection of like the original covers, because only the first 2 are bound up with this really pretty cover, and the other 2 are you can only buy in like their original covers. And I was like, well, I can't have mismatching books, so I've got to have this and then I've got to have the whole series again separately. I really enjoyed it. It's like Ranger's Apprentice for girls. That is exactly what Tamora Pierce is. I have one of her other books which I've been meaning to read for over 10 years, which I will now finally pick up because it was just, I can't recommend this book enough, but I'm sure I'm probably the only person in the world who hasn't read it yet, so I probably don't need to recommend it to you. Oh, fun fact though, I did meet Tamora Pierce once, even though I never read any of her books. I went to a Comic-Con and she was there signing books and I got the book signed. I'm going to show you that now. If the book is here. If the book's not here, you're not seeing it because I can't be bothered finding it. Let me show you this piece of glory. Look, it says Kirsty, Girls Rule, Tamora Pierce, 2016. That's right. So I'm quite happy in retrospect that I got that signed because now I'm like super fangirling over the fact that I have her signature. The next book that I read was Absolute Proof by Peter James. And I loved it. I told you already, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I'm obviously not going to rehash what I just said, but I love this book so much. I was absolutely shocked by how quickly I powered through it given its size, so please just do yourself a favour and buy this for yourself. Buy it for your dad for Christmas because it needs to be read. It's so good. Thank you. I should say thank you to Pam McMillan for sending me a copy. Thank you so much. The next book I read, however, was a big disappointment. So this one I rated 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that was We See Everything by William Sutcliffe, or Sutcliffe, I don't know how to say it, and I was so sad that I didn't enjoy this book. I have been anticipating that this will be like an incredible dystopian read for the better part of like 9 months at this point since I was sent it for review. I'm very behind, sorry Bloomsbury, but thank you for sending it to me. I'm just so upset because it has low ratings on Goodreads and I was like, nope, I'm not gonna believe that. I'm sure that and I'm gonna love it more than everybody else did. But nothing happens in this book. I haven't done my review yet. I'm just sort of like building up all of my angst, and then I'm gonna write my review and be really angry, but in a polite and nice way, on my blog, which is ozbooksnow.com if you want to go and check it out. But yeah, nothing happens in this book. What you see on the blurb is really deceptive. I thought there were only 2 characters. There are 3 characters in this book, and the way that it reads makes it sound like the dad is given the task of killing his son without knowing that it's his son that he's killing. And I was like, oh my god, the drama! But as it turns out, it's not. It's not. It's just disappointing. It's not that at all. It's just someone else trying to kill his dad. Yeah. Anyway, difficult to explain. Go read the blurb and then try and interpret it 2 different ways and you'll see what I mean. Point being, the war and the situation of this book is never explained. Fair enough, sometimes you can have books like that, but I felt like we could have done with a little bit of backdrop as to why anything was happening in it. The characters were unlikable, the main character was really cringy, and the insta-love was bleh. And the other main character, I've never hated anyone more. I actually think I prefer Voldemort to the other guy in this book. Ouch. The last book that I read in September, however, was Ramesses, the Great King of... It's on the book there. It's by In60 Learning, and I love these books so much. This is probably my favourite one that I've read so far. I partnered up with them to do a giveaway for this, and I have 2 more books to read and review, and with each of those I'm doing a giveaway, so make sure you do actually go onto my blog to check those out. The first batch of winners has already been announced for my review from this book, but it was so great. I just love these books. They're 1 hour long, and they're about history, and this one was about Ramesses, and I just learnt so much from this one. Like, I just really took it in, and it had a different narrator, which was exciting, because I like the other one, but this one was just something different and it was refreshing, and I literally can't recommend this enough. These are not expensive to get, and especially if you win my giveaway you get like 3 or however many of these free, I can't remember now, and they're just a great way to learn about history on audiobook to just top up a little bit. They've literally got things on everything. Like, I think I've got this one, we've got one on Tesla, we've got one on Ivan the Terrible, Alexander the Great, other people who aren't in ancient history, but all I can think of is ancient history examples. I cannot recommend these enough though. I rated this one, I don't know what I rated this one. I rated this one 5 out of 5 stars. I actually thought I'd rated it 4 out of 5 stars. But there we go. I rated this one 5 out of 5 stars. Cannot wait to read more of them. So that brings us to the end of this video. September was an okay reading month for me. I got 7 books done, but a lot of them were really, well, 2 of them were very short. I am incredibly pressed for time this month. I've just started my 3rd job, which is a publishing job, so that's very exciting, but right now I am just in a pool of chaos as I'm trying to sort out my life, and I'm hoping that as things calm down I'll be able to do some more reading. We'll just see how I go. I probably won't. I think this whole year is just going to be not quite as much reading as I was hoping it was going to be. But I'm on track with my Goodreads reading goal. I'm on track to read 75. I've lowered it. At the start of the year I wanted to read 100, so at least that's going strong. But we're just gonna see where the last few months take us, as I'm sure things will get even crazier going towards Christmas. But that is all I have for you today, so I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!